Brothers, let me ask you something real today. How many nights have you sat there scrolling through your phone, comparing yourself to other men, wondering if you're enough? If maybe she left because you didn't measure up, not in your wallet, not in your heart, not in your body, but in that one place men rarely admit they feel insecure. We live in a world that sells you lies. A world where size has become a weapon to crush your confidence. Adult films, locker room talk, social media flexes, they've all made you believe that a man's worth is decided by a number, by inches, by something you didn't even choose. And so you carry that silent weight, doubting yourself, questioning if you can ever make a woman truly happy. But let me give you truth backed by science, psychology, and the experiences of real women. It's not about size. It's about presence. It's about how you make her feel safe, desired, respected, and deeply connected. Women want far less of what you're stressing over and far more of what you're neglecting to see. So today, I'm going to break it down, not just to free you from that prison in your mind, but to remind you that you are already more than enough. By the end of this, you'll realize it was never about inches. It was always about intimacy. Let's be brutally honest. Most of the anxiety men carry around size doesn't come from women. It comes from culture, from the industries that profit off your insecurity, from movies, adult entertainment, exaggerated locker room talk, and the way society defines masculinity as bigger is better. But here's the truth. Science doesn't back that up. In fact, research from multiple universities, including studies published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, found that the majority of women prefer a very average size, around 5 to 6 inches. Not the extremes, not the unrealistic fantasies, just average. Why? Because for women, intimacy is about so much more than the physical dimension. It's about how you make them feel, how connected they are to you, and whether they trust you in those vulnerable moments. Science proves over and over that women do not chase extremes. In fact, when surveyed, most admitted that too big can be uncomfortable, even painful, while too small mattered far less than men think. But here's where it gets deeper. Psychology plays a bigger role than biology. Women are wired to seek connection, security, and chemistry. When those are present, the numbers don't even register. If you carry confidence, care, and presence, you'll do far more for her fulfillment than an extra inch ever could. So why does the myth persist? Because if you believe you're not enough, you'll keep chasing external validation, buying pills, scrolling fantasies, and living in silent shame. And as long as men keep believing this lie, industries will keep making money while you keep losing confidence. Gentlemen, science is clear. The average man is already enough. Women don't want the fantasy sold on screens. They want a man who knows how to love, protect, and connect. If you're obsessing over numbers, you're fighting the wrong battle. The battle isn't in your body, it's in your mind. And once you win that, you free yourself forever. Brothers, here's something most men never truly understand. A woman's deepest desire in intimacy isn't just pleasure, it's safety. Safety is the soil where desire, trust, and passion grow. Without it, nothing else matters. Think about it. When a woman feels unsafe, judged, or objectified, her body literally shuts down. Science tells us that stress and fear block arousal. No matter how strong you are, no matter how big you think you need to be, if she feels tense or emotionally disconnected, there will be no true intimacy. But when she feels safe in your presence, safe from ridicule, safe from betrayal, safe from being used, her walls begin to melt. Her body relaxes, her heart opens, and her desire flows naturally. That's when intimacy becomes something unforgettable. Here's the irony: so many men obsess over size, performance, or lasting power, when the truth is none of that works without emotional security. You could be the most gifted man in the room, but if she doesn't feel emotionally safe with you, it won't matter. She'll feel distant, withdrawn, or even resentful. Now, safety doesn't mean being weak. It doesn't mean you lose your masculinity. In fact, it's the opposite. A man who provides emotional safety is a man who leads with strength. He's steady, dependable, respectful, and present. He doesn't use intimacy to prove his worth. He uses intimacy to deepen connection. Ask yourself this when she's with you. Does she feel like she can be vulnerable without fear of judgment? Does she feel cherished, or does she feel like a checklist for your ego? because women remember how you make them feel long after the physical act is over. The truth. Emotional safety is the real aphrodisiac. It's the invisible force that makes a woman want to give all of herself to you. And once you understand that, you'll stop stressing over inches and start focusing on what truly makes her stay. Men often enter the bedroom carrying a silent pressure, the pressure to perform, to last long enough, to move in just the right rhythm, to wow her with techniques they've memorized from somewhere else. But let me tell you this truth. Performance is hollow without presence. Presence means you're in the moment with her, not distracted by your own doubts, not caught up in wondering if you're doing enough, not replaying the highlight reels you've seen online. Presence is when you look into her eyes and see her, not the ghost of your insecurity. It's when you notice her breath quickening, when you feel the way her body responds, when you slow down to connect instead of racing to impress. Women crave presence more than performance. Why? Because presence makes her feel seen, valued, and desired as a person, not an object. Presence creates a rhythm that no technique can replicate because it's her rhythm, unique to her, flowing with her, alive in that very moment. When a man is present, intimacy becomes effortless. It's no longer a performance where you're the actor and she's the audience. It's a shared experience where you both co-create something meaningful. And ironically, that's when she feels the most pleasure. Not because you've mastered 1,000 tricks, but because she feels like the only woman in your world at that moment. Brothers, performance is about ego, presence is about connection. Performance asks, did I do enough? Presence asks, did she feel enough? And the answer to the second question will always matter more. Here's the reality: women forget performances, but they never forget presence. They never forget the man who made them feel fully alive, fully loved, fully embraced. When you carry presence, you don't need to compete with anyone. You've already won her heart, her trust, and her desire. So the next time you're with her, silence the noise in your mind. Stop performing. Just be there. That's when she'll feel something no number of inches could ever give her: the power of true connection. Let me share a secret that science, psychology, and lived experience all agree on. Confidence is the greatest aphrodisiac a man can ever possess. Not six-pack abs, not the size of your bank account, not even what you're carrying below the belt. Confidence is what makes women lean in, listen closer, and stay. Now, don't confuse confidence with arrogance. Arrogance is loud, insecure, and constantly trying to prove itself. Confidence, on the other hand, is calm, it's steady. It's the quiet assurance that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I don't need to beg for validation. That kind of energy is magnetic. Think about it. How many times have you seen a man who wasn't conventionally handsome, who didn't have the flashiest car or the most expensive clothes, yet women couldn't stop paying attention to him? That wasn't luck. That was confidence. And here's the truth most men miss. Women are not scanning you with a measuring tape. They're scanning your spirit. They're noticing how you walk into a room, how you hold yourself, how you look at them. Not with desperation, but with certainty. Confidence tells her, I am safe with him. He knows himself. He doesn't need to pretend. On the flip side, when you're insecure, when you obsess over your size, your worth, or whether you're enough, she feels it. Insecurity is contagious. It creates tension, it shuts down intimacy, and it makes her question if you can truly lead her emotionally. Brothers, here's the beautiful part. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It comes from self-respect, discipline, and the decision to stop comparing yourself to every other man. It grows when you focus on being present, on listening, on loving without fear. Confidence isn't about proving you're the biggest or the best. It's about showing up fully as you. And when you do, you'll realize women were never looking for perfect. They were looking for real. So hear me, confidence will get you further than any number, any trick, any performance. Because confidence is the true magnet, and once you own it, you'll never have to chase. Let me ask you something, brother. When was the last time you actually asked a woman what she likes? Not what you think she likes, not what you've seen on a screen, but what truly brings her joy, comfort, and desire. The reality is this: most men don't ask. They assume. They perform routines they've picked up from movies, or they keep guessing, hoping they'll get it right. But intimacy isn't about guessing. It's about communicating. And communication, when done with honesty and care, is the most powerful tool. You have to unlock her heart, her trust, and her body. Here's the truth. Every woman is different. What makes one woman melt may mean nothing to another. There is no universal formula. That's why communication is key. When you create a safe space for her to express herself, you're showing her that her voice matters. You're telling her, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to connect with you. And do you know what happens when a woman feels heard? She gives you more of herself. She trusts you. She becomes more open, more vulnerable, more free. Communication doesn't just unlock intimacy, it multiplies it. Because suddenly she's not holding back. She knows you care enough to listen, and that makes her want to give more in return. But here's where many men fail. They're afraid to ask, afraid to seem inexperienced, afraid to admit they don't have all the answers. But let me tell you this. Real strength is not pretending to know everything. Real strength is being humble enough to say, teach me, show me what you love. Let's create this together. That kind of openness doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you unforgettable. Because while every other man is trying to perform, you're building a bond. You're making her feel seen in ways most women never experience. So hear me clearly, communication is not weakness. It is power. It is the difference between shallow encounters and life-changing intimacy. The men who learn to talk, to listen, and to respond are the men women never forget. Brother, let's strip this all down to the truth. Masculinity has never been about inches. It has never been about the exaggerated standards the world tries to sell you. Real masculinity is about impact, the mark you leave on the hearts of the people you love, the way you carry yourself in a world that constantly tests you. The tragedy is that so many men have been conditioned to measure their worth by what they can't control, by size, by comparisons, by shallow definitions that reduce manhood to a number. And in chasing that illusion, many men lose sight of the very things that make them powerful. A true man is not defined by inches. He is defined by integrity, by discipline, by the way he treats the women who trust him, the friends who depend on him, the children who look up to him. A true man leaves a legacy, not of ego, but of love and leadership. That is impact. Think about the men you admire most, the ones history remembers. Was it because of their size? No. It was because of their courage, their character, their ability to lead with strength and compassion. That is the standard you should hold yourself to. Women, deep down, know this too. They may be attracted to surface things at first, but what makes them stay, what makes them commit, is not your body. It's your soul. It's the way you show up consistently, the way you love fiercely, the way you refuse to quit when life tests you. Redefining masculinity means letting go of the lies and embracing the truth that you are already enough. And your power lies in how deeply you touch lives, not how long you measure on a ruler. So from today forward, shift your focus. Stop asking, am I big enough? And start asking, am I impactful enough? Am I loving enough? Am I strong enough to lead myself and those I love with honor? Because that's what real masculinity looks like. That's what women truly desire. And that's what will give your life meaning far beyond the bedroom.